Hello, everyone. So, obviously, we found out now, and this is only the tip of the iceberg, let's put it that way, about Dublin City Council. Some city councils from Dublin went over to France. And you're probably like, what's the problem with that? Well, let me tell you, little Timmy. Of course, we had to pay for it all, the flights and everything, of course. We couldn't expect our politicians, our councils, and the officials in the council and stuff on thousands of euros a week to pay for a hotel room or a flight. Oh, yes, we couldn't do that. But yeah, long story short, they whacked up a bill of 11,400, a few of them, and €600 a night at a luxury French hotel. And I'll just show you the picture here. Because yeah, great for the family. So a luxury French hotel. So when you're struggling to pay the bills this week, when you just have a bit left over, €20 left at the end of the week, just remember your taxes are going to this. That's councillors and stuff can have their own private beach and stuff like that. Isn't it lovely? The life of Wiley, isn't that right? But at least the Wileys, the old Watleys here in Cavan when they were fighting the British, etc., at least they cared for the Irish. Of course, they couldn't give a toss, these councillors or officials, they couldn't give a toss. You think they would pay for themselves because they can well afford to do it. And then we have our good friend, the Lord Mayor of Dublin. Now, who knows why we're calling him the Lord Mayor? If he wants to be a Lord Mayor, he can go over to England. He probably should go over to England. He'd be better off over there. But yeah, our good friend, the Lord Mayor, he didn't spend it. He willingly asked the Irish taxpayer, could you fork out €6,000? And this is just on a business class flight to California because you think the Lord Mayor would be with the people, want to sit among the people. But no, he wants to sit along the establishment. And of course, the cost of €6,000, probably both ways. Who knows? This is what they tell us. But of course, it probably was both ways. So it's probably €12,000 just to get the fuck over there. And that's not including probably the champagne and the whole shebang and the whole lot, the hotel and all. So look, the Lord Mayor should pay it out of his own fucking pocket. Excuse my language, but that's what he should do, is take it out of his own fucking pocket. Instead of asking the Irish people to pay for it, and especially Dublin people in Dublin City, because this is the money, in a lot of cases, we have to remember Dublin City Council, and particularly the Lord Mayor, voted in favour to increase the rents in Dublin City for people that are struggling in Dublin, people in council houses and stuff that are struggling. And there was not a care in the world when he was flying off business class to California. It's the life of Wiley, just to say, it's the life of Wiley. But this is Quinniman. It really is Quinniman. He probably should be sacked. He probably should be going to prison, to be totally honest. Unless he's willing to pay back the money he should be. Because it's simply outrageous. If you want to go, now he probably would say he was going off to represent Dublin and California and stuff. That's all well and good. But I went off for St. Patrick's Day to Finland and stuff to represent Ireland in my own capacity, not in the state's capacity. I wouldn't go to satisfy the state. But yeah, I would have my own capacity, had to fork it out of my own pocket. I didn't go running to the state to ask to pay for me. Even though I probably did more good than some of the people that the Irish government sent over there. But yeah, we won't go there. But what I'm trying to say is, you think he would do it for the love of country. Like, I didn't get paid. I didn't get anything for free over them. I had to pay it all myself. And I'm proud, because at the end of the day, that's what it means to be a leader. That you take responsibility, that you take the initiative, you take the leadership. And especially when it came to St. Patrick's Day and stuff, and even conferences and stuff, you pay for it out of your own pocket. That's what shows respect, especially when you go abroad. When they hear that this, I would love to hear, and I'm sure the people in California would love to hear, if this Lord Mayor, our good friend Ray, went over to California, went over to Los Angeles, right? He was going over, for argument's sake, a business conference. And he said to the people there, I'm with the people. I'm always for the people. I forked it out of my own back pocket. I took it out of my back pocket. I even took out a loan just so the people wouldn't have to pay for it. And people would say, that's a great Lord Mayor. That's what we need in this country. But no, he said, no, fuck everything. Just let the people pay for it. Champagne Socialist 2.0. But yeah, no, it's utterly ridiculous. And our own fuckers here in Cavan, the Lord Mayor, etc., and the officials in our county council are probably went off and spent €1 billion to get a hotel room in New York and stuff like that. So we won't know yet. We'll see when it comes out, the Freedom of Information request, etc. But I wouldn't be surprised it's probably €32,000 or something like that to send a few of them over. You never know, to be totally honest, because it's outrageous, because they do very fuck all. Like, they really come home with nothing. Like, you think they'd be coming home with a big basket of money, like they wouldn't be able to carry it, but they come home with fuck all. Like, really, what at the end of the day, what they do? Because they meet some other fuckers that are higher up. In these towns, say for example in France here, they probably met some big fucking mayor there that's too fat to walk around. And not even that too. They probably met other politicians that couldn't give a shit about anybody but themselves. And then obviously businessmen too that just see use Ireland as much as humanly possible. But not a hit, not a word, not a whisper about that. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is the country is fucked. If this is the best leadership we have as councils and stuff. But the job of a council, and particularly this, it's very sinister. The councillors shouldn't be really going over there. Whatever about Chocolate dollars, etc., senators, fair enough. But at the end of the day, the councillors, their job is to look after the bread and butter. What I mean by that is the local issues in your municipality, your local area. But that waits for no one. But yeah, I think it's shameful. To be totally honest, these councillors probably should, at the very least. I'm not saying if they were signed, but at the very least they should say, I would pay it out of my own pocket along with interest back to the exchequer, back to the Irish taxpayer, or to the officials too. You think they would, because it would only cost them probably a week's wage, and that's really it. Because these people make thousands, they don't need it. They don't need to be different. If it was a young child, if it was happened with a working class mom that lived on their own and they were struggling to pay the bills, and the Irish day was like, oh, this young girl was never on a holiday, we'll bring her on a holiday. I wouldn't mind that. I think the Irish taxpayer would be happy with that. But yes, these fuckers that are in the big suits and big fucking cars. And they couldn't give a shit about the only Irish person. Like, there's not a care. I don't see the Lord Mayor of Dublin going around to see homeless people. I don't see him doing anything, to be true. He's good for nothing, it seems to be. Like a lot of them are good for nothing. Because it seems like he's very good at flying business class, but he's no good at looking after the cities. Dublin city's turned into a hellhole, and he's nowhere to be found. You think he would want to stay in Dublin and be in Dublin all the time to fight against organised crime, drug dealing, homelessness, etc. But he has time to fly off to California, and it's very peculiar. But yeah, it's great. It's a great country for some, just to say. But anyway, let me know what you think. Are you happy with this? Now, I don't think you'd find a man in the moon that would be happy with this, but it's just all a shebang. It's all a scam. That's what it is. It's all use and it's abuse of the Irish taxpayer. That's what it is. These people probably should be going to prison for abuse, because it's abuse. Like, it literally is abuse. You're robbing people blind. You're taking them from idiots. That's pretty much what's going on here. But it's happening all over the country. It's not just Dublin City. We see now in the next few months to be Cavan, it'll be Leitrim. Leitrim doesn't exist, so it doesn't matter there. But Donegal and stuff, the war flew and halfway around the world. But the environment too, and again the Lord Mayor next day, the council meeting, be like, oh, the environment, climate change. You flew halfway around the world on a private business class. But yeah, they don't seem to realise that. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more and bye.